up and welcome back, guys. So today we are gonna be using one of Unity's test worlds. Well, basically it's one of the default worlds that you can like test in or whatever. So today we're gonna be this is like my first tutorial, and today we're going to be focusing on everything about ontrriger. Now, why I'm doing this video is because many people struggle with ontrriger. It's quite a complex thing. It's also a very useful thing. It's like crazily useful. Every game I've ever made has used ontrriger at least somewhere. So, yeah. So to start with this, we're mainly doing the scripting, but I'll go through. I've just got a box with a collider, and I've kind of scaled up the collider to, you can have the collider and whatever thing what you want, but you need to make sure that the player is going to touch the collider. So this green outline here means that it's the collider. So anything inside here is going to be where the ontrriger is part of. So we're gonna add a component and just call so we're gonna add a script, and we're gonna call the script ontrriger. That's good, ontrriger. We're gonna call it ontrriger. Create an ad. So there we go. It will pop up in a sec. It's kind of slow, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Another thing you need to make sure is that in your box collider trigger is ticked, because if trigger isn't ticked, it just won't work. You need to make sure it's a trigger. Also, don't make sure you're not if you've copied someone else's tutorial and you just kind of come to this tutorial for help, make sure you're not using a rigid body and that you're using a box collider, because that's what we'll be going over in this video. I think there's a way to use a rigid body, but I always use colliders, and that's the way we're going to go over it in the video. Okay, so now just go into this script and click Edit Script. Now, you can use whatever you want, but I recommend C#. And if you haven't installed one yet, install one. Don't just use Notepad, because you want something that supports C#, so Unity's native language. This is I'll have a link to download C# to download this Visual Studio. I'll have a link to download Visual Studio in the description. And yeah, so now we won't need the update method, so just delete that, and we'll be using the start method. So we go on trigger. Okay, so sorry. So don't just type that in. Do void on this is the only problem about calling it ontrriger, so if you want to call it something else, you can. So void ontrriger, and now we want to go into here and do collider. So we're going to go down to collider, and then other. So there you go. We're getting a lot of errors. I don't know why that is. I could not tell you why we're getting all these errors. Hello? name other does not exist in this context. Okay, let me do some troubleshooting and I'll figure out why this is. Okay, guys, so I went off camera and I did a little script here. So this is actually a script that generally does do stuff. Just because I think it'll be easier to explain in a proper scripted environment. So on trigger enter, you can see we've got the on trigger enter here. So these bits don't really matter because I don't expect, because these are stuff we'll probably go over in a different tutorial. These aren't stuff I expect people to. You don't need to know any of this. You really don't. But this bit you may need to. You may actually want to know because that's part of this video. So you don't need the private. If you take away the private, it works exactly the same. You can see I can take away the private. It doesn't do anything. Private is just, if you have nothing, it's still private. Yeah, I never put private. Some people put private. It's kind of, yeah. So then you've got, so this is like what is gonna happen on the trigger enter. So we've got collider other. So other is the collider. It's quite simple. I can do something like if other equals player, then, so you can use an if then statement in here and ask what other is. So I'll show you that. So if if other equals, and then let's find something. So let's say we want it to be, so player, there you go, player. Let me just copy that, copy and paste, just so we make sure it's definitely spelled correctly. There you go. So there you go. So we've got now set it to be top. Ask for player. Now, yes, it is giving me an error there. You will need to set that in a variable, but that's just kind of what it's kind of. That's basically, and then I could do like a then you know how an if statement works. I'm assuming I'll probably do something on if statements because they're quite important. But yeah, so then you basically just finish off the if statement and just put whatever you want in there. So that's just a little thing. So now on trigger exit. So this is basically the same thing, but it's when the player exits it. So this is obviously very different. So we've got a lot of breaking colors. All this you don't need to worry about. It's this you want to worry about. So obviously, once again, you don't need the private. I'll leave it on that time just to show that, yeah, it will work either way. Also, by the way, this script is probably going to... I just remembered what we put this script on. It's probably not going to be really weird, because this is basically just doing a bunch of colours. But it doesn't matter. It's probably not gonna. Probably not gonna. The actual script probably isn't gonna work very well. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll work. I don't know. So yeah. So we could even do like on trigger enter. Let's say, I don't know. On trigger enter. And then we could put in like a little thing to like say log. Basically, you can print something, you can whatever. Let's say I want to print. If I can remember how print works. There you go, and then it goes in there, doesn't it? And then we can just say GAF did there. And I'll put that in there. And then we can do the same thing here. So print. This is to prove that the ontrriger exit is going to work here. So let's just go there, and then go there, and then let's just do out so we kind of know roughly what that means. There we go. So now save the script with Control S. So that's how you do in C#. You might be using a different one where it's different, although Control S is quite standard for most programs. So yeah, Control S should do it. So now if we open up Unity, oh, there we go. Okay, just took a second. We should be able to play the game, and so I'm sure most of you know how this game goes. There we go. Okay, we should have got. Okay, I'm actually quite good at this. Oh, I'm quite good at it. Okay. Okay, I need to demonstrate something. Thank you. So now if we go in there, and we can also leave, that should have worked. So let's go into the console, and nothing printed. Okay, well, that's beside the point. But, yeah, so that will work if you've done it all correctly. So, yeah, that's gonna be it for this tutorial. So, by the way, this, for those of you who don't know, this is not a game made by me. This is a Unity, this is one of the Unity tutorial things. So I'm not gonna like suddenly release this, although I'm sure it's been released many times. So yeah, I take no credit for this actual map here. But I hope you enjoyed, and that's it from me until next time.